Parents with adopted kids. Why did you choose adoption? I didn't choose adoption. My 8-year-old daughter Emma chose me. I was her social worker, assigned to find her a permanent home after her third foster placement failed in just 4 months. Emma had developed this habit of hiding under tables whenever adults discussed her future, like she could disappear if she tried hard enough. The first time I met her, she was crammed under the waiting room coffee table, clutching a torn dinosaur book. Her previous foster mom sat above her, explaining to my supervisor how Emma just couldn't adjust and had too many issues for a normal family. For 6 grueling months, I watched family after family meet Emma during supervised visits. They'd arrive excited, ready to save this poor orphaned child. Then they'd witness one of her episodes, the hiding, the selective muteness, the way she'd flinch when adults moved too quickly, too damaged, they'd whisper to me afterward. Maybe when she's had more therapy. But here's what they missed. Emma was brilliant. She'd memorized every dinosaur species from the Triassic period, could solve 500-piece puzzles meant for teenagers, and once spent an entire afternoon teaching me about paleontology, using nothing but broken crayons and animated sound effects. She just couldn't trust adults not to abandon her. And honestly, after watching her biological parents overdose when she was 5 and 3 foster families give up within months, why would she? My supervisor had given me until Friday to find Emma a placement, or she'd be transferred to a group home 2 hours away, where she'd share a room with 7 other kids and see a counselor once a week. Emma crawled under my desk again, and instead of the usual coaxing routine, I grabbed my chair cushion and sat on the floor beside her. What if nobody wants me? She whispered, voice barely audible. What if somebody already does? I said back. She peeked up at me with those huge brown eyes, the same ones that had watched too much heartbreak for an 8-year-old. Who? Me. I want you, Emma, not as your social worker, as your mom. That night, I called my supervisor and broke every professional boundary I'd ever learned. I was single, lived in a cramped 1-bedroom apartment, made barely enough to support myself, and had 0 experience raising kids, but I'd rather risk my career than watch Emma disappear into the system forever. The adoption paperwork took 8 grueling months. Emma lived with me during the process under emergency placement, and every single night she'd ask if I was sure I wouldn't change my mind when things got too hard. I'd tuck her into my bed. She took the bedroom. I slept on the couch, and promised her that some people don't give up. Some people stay no matter what. The hardest part wasn't the sleepless nights or learning to braid hair or figuring out what 8-year-olds actually eat for breakfast. It was watching Emma test every single boundary, waiting for me to prove her right about adults being temporary fixtures. She'd hide my car keys and deny it, refuse to speak for days at a time. Once she drew on every wall in the apartment with permanent marker just to see what I'd do when I found her masterpiece. I painted over the walls and told her we'd redecorate together. Another time, she told her teacher I hit her, a complete lie that launched a CPS investigation. When they cleared me, I sat Emma down and said, I know you're scared I'll leave, but making up stories would push me away faster than anything else. The day the adoption became official, the judge asked Emma if she had anything to say before signing the final papers. Emma stood up in that courtroom, straightened her little purple dress, the first one she'd picked out herself, looked directly at me, and announced in a voice that carried to every corner of the room, I picked her first. I just had to wait for her to figure it out. The judge had to take a 5-minute recess because half the courtroom was crying, including the bailiff. Now she's 12, still obsessed with dinosaurs, has straight A's, and calls me the mom who finally listened. Last week, she asked if we could foster other kids who need someone to stay. The answer was yes, because Emma taught me that families aren't built from DNA or perfect circumstances. They're built from the decision to show up every day, especially when it's hard. The night before the adoption was finalized, Emma asked me why I chose her when nobody else would. I told her the truth. I didn't choose you, sweetheart. You chose me. You just had to teach me how to be worth choosing. She's been my greatest teacher. She taught me that love isn't a feeling you fall into. It's a choice you make every single day. And choosing Emma was the easiest choice I've ever made, even when everything else about it was impossible.